This is the story of Latrell Shaw, also known as Turtle T, aka T.O. Latrell Shaw, also known as T.O. Takeoff, was born and raised in San Francisco, California, the year 1994. He was raised in Double Rock Projects along with many other siblings he grew up with in the household. Latrell Shaw, also known as T.O., jumped off the porch at an early age, just like any other kid born and raised in the projects of San Francisco. At an early age, Latrell Shaw, also known as T.O., experienced some things that most kids his age don't experience. At a very young age, T.O. lost his mom, which would play a big role on how he would carry himself outside on these streets. T.O. started off just like any other African American kid born and raised in the projects of any other community in the world. Any kid that is going to grow up in the projects going to experience murder, deaths, fights, shootouts, drug deals, etc. Everything that goes on in the urban neighborhood, Latrell's seen it all. But in the midst of all that, T.O. started to play sports back in the year 2006. He started to play for a little league football team called the Brown Bombers around Bayview Hunters Point. While trying to love football, the streets began to take a toll on Latrell Shaw at an early age. In 2008, T.O. began to drift away from football and focus more on the streets and focus more on just graduating from the 8th grade and getting on to the 9th grade. In 2009, Latrell Shaw began to start building his confidence up while forming a crew in Double Rock Projects called Touch Money Boys, also known as TMB. TMB was a crew that was known around Bayview Hunters Point as being physical, athletic, real rappers, party goers, just real motherfucking trendsetters around Hunters Point when it comes to the younger generation. TMB was different, y'all. TMB was just a crew of friends who all grew up in the same neighborhood, who all dreamed and wanted the same things. TMB was a brotherhood. It was more than just friends to T.O. T.O. looked at the TMB family as his own family. He would do anything, would ride out, rock out, go slide for all these dudes that's a part of TMB. So just know if you was a part of TMB, you had a loyal brother in T.O., aka Turtle. So fast forward to 2011, the streets starting to kick in now for T.O. T.O. turning up outside, got his confidence up. He doing his thing, being one of the leaders in TMB. So he ends up getting incarcerated for about 8 months. 8 months, at least 8 months to, I say 12 months, a county year, a county bullet, I think. It was eating him alive that he had to sit down in jail while all his homies outside and shit. His homies in the middle of a beef, in the middle of a war that he can't do nothing about because he like, damn, if I was out, I would have been out there with you niggas because I love my brothers. I love TMB. But being in jail sucks, man. But while sitting in jail, little did we all know T.O. was in there working on his rapping, working on his flows, getting his rhyming up, getting his storytelling up, putting in that work pen to the pad. Because when he got released, he came home in full go mode, real notebooks full of raps saying, yo, I'm going to try that football shit out one more time. But if it don't work, I'm going straight to the studio and I got songs, albums on albums. And I know because I was right there when he had the notebook full of raps and he said, yo, I'm getting in the studio if this football shit don't work. We taking off. That's why they call me T.O. The real T.O. is here. So in 2012, T.O. gets released from jail. He comes home all amped up, all turned up because the TMB Touch Money Boys had dropped a hit song, viral song called Oh Honey. So T.O. was hearing this song all through the jails, all through the phone calls. So he was itching to come home like, damn, niggas is really out there dropping music like that. Hold on. So he like, I gotta get home and get into that because rapping was what he do. He just kept saying, I gotta get out this group home because they had moved him to a group home for a little bit. So he was in a group home like, bro, I gotta get out of this motherfucker, bro. I gotta get home. I gotta get out there with y'all. So when T.O. comes home from jail at the end of 2012, he come home to a different atmosphere in his environment. Now it's a whole different racial war going on down there. The blacks versus Samoans. This is something different to Trell, but he was ready for whatever though. Whatever his brothers was on, he was on. But also at the same time, he knew in the back of his mind, he made a promise to himself that he was going to graduate high school. Graduating high school was a must for Trell. He like, man, I all this shit I'm gonna fail at. I ain't gonna fail at high school. I'm gonna get this right because he had a brain on his shoulders. He was a smart individual, graduated with a 3.4. He was very smart. But the streets takes a toll on all of us at a certain point of our lives. We all come to a point in our life where God put us to a test. Is you gonna turn left or is you gonna turn right? Trell just so happened to turn left, like most individuals do when we in the poverty, in urban neighborhoods, in the projects, growing up, and that's all we see. We gonna turn left. But some of us turn left and we turn into a dead end. And some of us turn left and be like, nah, I ain't gonna go all the way down that street. But Trell just so happened to say, you know what? I'm gonna turn left because I don't give a damn right now. With Trell mind already made up, like I said before on my last story with the K-Clap story, once your mind get made up at a young age, you only got about 5 things on your mind. And that's making your parents happy, that's graduating in Trell case, that's playing sports, hanging with your bros, seeing your bros smile, and getting you some women. It ain't that many, too much that can make you happy at a certain age. It's what, money, what, dice games, and getting you a car, getting some little jewelry, some clothes. Like I said, it ain't too much that make a young kid happy. But getting on the ops make a lot of niggas happy. And that was what Trell loved to do on his spare time. He loved to get on the ops. If he had to, he had to. I ain't going to say if he had to. I mean, just say if he was going to do it, he was going to do it. Because that's just the mind frame that Trell was in. Trell knew that he just wanted to protect his environment, his community, his projects, protect the area that he grew up in. He didn't tolerate disrespect when it came from other people outside of his neighborhood. I'm telling you that. Fast forward to 2013, Trell began to go heavy on his raps, heavy on his flows, starting to get in the studio more, dropping more hits, and just becoming more consistent with his flow and rhyming. While building himself a rap name around the neighborhood of Bayview Hunters Point, Trell began to drop multiple music videos, keeping the vibe and energy up that his brothers from TMB had created when they dropped the song 0 T.O. began applying pressure in the studio and applying pressure on the streets, if you know what I mean. With T.O. being one of the main faces of the group TMB, the ops knew exactly who he was. So that led to some other shit. Other shit meaning both sides beginning to diss each other, sneak diss over the internet, Twitters. T.O. didn't take none of that lightly. So he like, man, fuck that shit. Niggas ain't finna be dissing me or my side because about my respect and about my brothers and my community, we could take it there. That was T.O. whole mind frame. But beyond all that, T.O. was a well-loved individual in his community. All the people loved T.O. T.O. had the females around him, the bros around him. He was just turned up. Like I said, he wasn't weak at no sports, played every sport, especially once the confidence kicked in. And when the confidence kicked in, woo!